She never imagined that her husband, whom she had been married to for many years, would shamelessly spy on their daughter's room. But when facing his wife's questioning, the man not only felt no shame at all, he even slapped her backhandedly and told her to shut up. Seeing that his wife still did not realize her mistake, the father, without another word, pulled out his belt and whipped it again and again onto his wife's body. However, seeing her mother suffer inhuman torture, Anna, hiding in the room, was furious but dared not speak because she was a mute girl and this was a patriarchal era. Women had no voice at all in front of men. Very soon, the mother was beaten until her body was covered in wounds. Unexpectedly, in order to prevent the matter from spreading, the father directly took his wife to the blacksmith shop in town and forged an iron head cage, putting it on his wife's head, because this way, the wife would never speak nonsense again. But the husband's punishment was far from over. Soon, he took her to the church and, in front of all the believers, humiliated the talkative wife. The wife could only silently endure everything. What she never expected was that at this moment, her daughter said such words: "I will never be like you." The daughter's words were like a knife, deeply stabbing into her heart. At this moment, she had already lost the motivation to live. She turned around, walked to the church beam, and in front of everyone, chose to hang herself. As the priest, the man looked at his wife hanging in the air and immediately began to curse viciously because he believed the wife's behavior was an insult by a woman toward her husband and God. Facing everything happening before them, none of the believers dared to save the woman. And it was exactly because of her mother's death that Anna, having lost protection, fell into an irreversible hell. And this was only the beginning of her suffering. Early that morning, the father came to Anna's room, called her to get up, and took her to the church in town. He wanted to marry Anna under God's witness. Then, without another word, he dropped out of the room, wanting to completely leave this demon. After a night of long travel, she successfully escaped from her father's farm. But fate played a huge joke on her. Because when she woke up, she found herself lying in a carriage, and the people inside were human traffickers. Before Anna could react, the man violently pried open her mouth, checked her physical health, and then used Anna's angel-like face to sell her at a very high price to a local hotel. Luckily, seeing that she was still young, the owner temporarily let her do chores, unlike others who worked like machines, to please men and attract business. She thought such a life would continue forever. But one day, a drunk man in the hotel took a liking to Anna and began touching her publicly. Fortunately, an older sister arrived in time and helped Anna escape disaster. But in this patriarchal era, men, to defend their dignity, tied up that sister the next day and brutally tortured her on the spot. This incident shattered Anna's youthful dream like a thunderbolt. As years hurried by, Anna had no choice but to bow to fate and became the hotel's top girl. One day, a wealthy man claiming to be a priest spent a huge sum to book the entire hotel for a day. What Anna never expected was that this person was her father, whom she hadn't seen for years. To avoid being recognized, she deliberately wore an eye patch, but the two black moles behind her neck was still recognized at a glance by her sharp-eyed father. After entering the room, the father kept humiliating Anna with harsh words, saying why she ran away from home back then, that she should have served him like her mother. Then he skillfully pulled out his belt and madly whipped the disobedient Anna. The hotel's deaf-mute girls heard the noise and rushed in to save her. In desperation, one of them slashed the man's face with a knife, but in the end, she was stabbed through the heart. Seeing the deaf-mute girl die for her, Anna could no longer endure it. She pulled out the knife and slashed her father's throat, then set fire to destroy all evidence, disguised herself, and escaped from this terrifying place. After escaping to a strange town, Anna a brand new life. She met a local man, married him, and gave birth to a beautiful little girl. She thought happiness was finally waiting for her. But one day, when she followed her husband to the church, she was shocked to discover that the priest on the stage was her father, whom she had once slit the throat of. She never imagined her father hadn't died. As he gave a speech on the podium, uneasiness instantly ignited in Anna's heart. As expected, that night, terrifying things happened. She discovered their home had been burned down, and the man standing not far away was her father. The next morning, she found all the sheep in the pen had their bellies cut open and were dead. Her husband, furious, rode to town to seek justice while Anna stayed to clean up the bodies. Unexpectedly, someone locked the door from outside. She rushed to the door in terror and saw her vicious father approaching her daughter. Anna tried to escape through the window but slipped and fainted. When she woke up, she saw her husband playing with their daughter. This was clearly her father's warning. To protect her family, Anna went to the church at midnight with a knife, planning to kill her father. But when she lifted the blanket, she saw a childhood doll. She had been tricked. She rushed home, but it was too late. Her husband had been disemboweled and died in the sheep pen. Anna fled with her children, but during the escape, her son was shot dead. She finally reached her grandfather's home, left her daughter there, and guarded the door with a gun. Soon, her father appeared. "I was truly prepared to forgive you back in Bismuth. I loved you." It turned out the father's love for Anna had crossed all boundaries. He would not allow her to be anyone's wife or have anyone's children. After finding her grandfather murdered, Anna fought back. She broke free, threw a kerosene lamp, set her father on fire, and shot him dead. Because she knew only if her father died could her daughter live safely. The film ends here. The movie tells a story of survival and revenge of a woman in a patriarchal society. It reflects deep problems in culture and social structure. The ending is comforting. A woman becomes strong when she becomes a mother, and a mother's bottom line is always her child.